Would you be in favor of removing one nation under God from the Pledge of Allegiance, and why or why not? Yes, it wasn't there at the start either. Edit. Adding citation to make it clearer. On June 14, 1954, President Dwight Eisenhower signed a bill to insert the phrase "under God" into the U.S. Pledge of Allegiance that children recited every morning in school. Previously, the pledge, originally written in 1892, had contained no reference to religion. Edit 3. Removed my rant. I'm a pastor, so I would say it should absolutely be removed. Forcing your religion on someone never leaves a person with a positive feeling towards that religion. If Christians want people to have authentic experiences with their religion, we need to allow for authentic encounters rather than gross forced ones. You end up with Christian nationalism and not Christianity. Besides, early church Christians chose execution rather than pledging allegiance to an empire. And now we're supposedly so for it. Some churches do it on the regular? Straight up heresy. The Pledge of Allegiance itself concerns me far more than the religious bit. It makes sense that it was written right after the Civil War, that one nation, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all, packed a punch in the aftermath of 250,000 Americans dying to stop secession and slavery. My mom remembers when "under God" was added, thanks to the Cold War. That one nation, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I'm a fan of the irony that is the addition of "under God" phrase. It literally divides the one nation and indivisible portions of the statement. Under God literally divides the nation. It should not be in the Pledge of Allegiance or on the currency. One of our first currencies had a much better slogan: "Mind your business." https://n.wikipedia.org Wikifugiocent. And it meant take care of your own work and take pride in what you do and not stay out of other people's business. Well, isn't that just the difference between mind your business and mind your own business? Not in modern times, or maybe it's a regional thing. I have heard people say "mind your business" for "mind your own business" lots of times. I'd be in favor of removing the entire Pledge of Allegiance. To quote the late great Robin Williams, "Under Canada, above Mexico." The whole pledge is ducking creepy and weird Lamau. That line kind of ruins whole indivisible vibe the rest of the pledge has. So does the "justice for all" part. Justice for all, who can afford it? SEPERATECHURCHANDSTATE. Shepherd a Tech Urchan State. I knew I should have learned Esperanto. Yes, because no one should force you to believe in any religion, and it is violating the First Amendment because Congress shall make no law respecting an of religion, or prohibiting the free exercise of. Also, with what's been going on recently, people are very concerned with Christian nationalism. So yeah. What a karma bait question. You're on Reddit, of course you know what the answer is going to be. Free karma. People of Reddit, if the hottest person you know offered you sex and $200 million, would you say yes? Why or why not? Remove it. 1. It isn't original, it was added during the McCarthy era as a way to weed out the communists. #facepalm 2. The US very specifically has no state religion. We are not a nation under any god, goddess, flying spaghetti monster, or other invisible entities that anyone believes in. Wrong. Any sane person believes in the flying spaghetti monster. It'd be for removing the pledge entirely. It's such a weird tradition. Aside from the God part, which I think is immoral, it feels like some kind of bizarre brainwashing ritual I was forced to endure for years in elementary school. Therese, no need for any mention of God anywhere. Not on our money. Not in any state-funded building. Nowhere. Take that shit to church. Wait, I thought the US were a secular country? Do you mean there are lots of Americans criticizing Islamic countries when they have added, relatively recently, a thing that is very similar, just a different religion? I'm really at a loss here. In favor of removal. It excludes atheists, polytheism, agnostics, and pretty much anyone not the flavor of the hour religiously. Our country was founded on freedom of, and by extension from, religion. We should not have an exclusivity in our pledge. Especially one added later specifically to promote xenophobia and prejudice among our peoples. Sure, but I think it would be better if we just didn't make kids say it. How about removing the pledge? Pledging allegiance to a flag is some culty shit. Absolutely. Can we stop singing the national anthem before every ducking sporting event too? I'd be in favor of removing it. Personally, I don't think it should have ever been there. Keeping separation of church and state in close reference. I've never seen where it was necessary anyway. For a free country to require allegiance just doesn't sound right. Yes, because under God is only there because of Billy Graham. He talked Eisenhower into courting the evangelical vote, so now we have that, and in God we trust on our money. I'm down with doing away with the pledge, personally. Yes, remove it. We are not a nation under God, as God does not exist. And to say we're one nation under God implies a single God, leaving out cultures that believe in several gods. There is no God here, so remove it. We're not one nation under anything either. I'm in favor of it. I believe in God, but I also respect, and expect, the separation of church and state. Yes. It's exclusionary. How can you be one nation when immediately alienating everyone who isn't Christian? But that's the dog whistle, isn't it? Yes, it's a disgrace on our nation. Remove the pledge altogether. We don't need to waste our time indoctrinating kids with mindless American exceptionalism. It would be better if we spent those 60 seconds and gave monthly lessons on how we ducked over blacks, or how we fucked over other countries, or how our legal system fucks you over if you aren't wealthy. There shouldn't be a fascist-ass pledge at all. The pledge of one of those things that seems normal as a kid, but in retrospect it feels like some North Korea shit. How about we just remove it altogether? It's weird as duck. Even when I was a third-grade teacher I never said it, nor forced the kids to say it, they all did out of habit, but I always said to myself if they asked me if they had to, I'd allow them to sit quietly. Remove the people who put it in there while you're at it. I'm an atheist, but the under God part is irrelevant to me. I am against coercive pledges altogether. Teacher here. It's weird to me that we make kids do this at all. Duck the Pledge of Allegiance in general. If America is really the greatest country on earth, then surely we can be secure enough in that fact to not force our children to commit their dedication to it every morning, yeah? Remove it. First Amendment forbids it. We could say under Canada instead. Can we just get rid of the Pledge of Allegiance? Super duck to ask children to make a pledge to something they neither understand or chose. The original from 1892 said one nation indivisible. The lacking sense of irony to literally divide the phrase by inserting under God in 1954 is just absurd. Shame on them for doing it. It should be removed. Of course, a large portion of the country will feel that it's more important that we say under God than that we remain one nation indivisible. Shame on them. Yes, because it was not a part of the original. Not to mention this is not a Christian nation regardless of what Fox News says. Let's just remove the whole thing. It's weird as hell to demand that kids pledge allegiance to their country. It's unsettling to me that this part was added as the United States was never intended on being a religious country. Emo, this fringes church and state. Yes. It wasn't there to begin with, and it doesn't mean anything. Only one Western nation has had a similar pledge in 200 years. I'll give you one guess which one it was. And I'll give you one clue, it was not France, Denmark, Poland, Switzerland or Austria. Nor was it anyone in the Balkans, in British Isles, none of the Nordic, not Soviet Russia, nor Italy. It'd be in favor of removing the Pledge of Allegiance. Yes. The original pledge was created in 1892, no mention of God. It wasn't until 1954 that under God was added. n.m.wikipedia.org. Pledge of Allegiance is stupid AF anyway. Full abolition. Especially our crooked-ass country. Friend, I'm in favor of removing the Pledge of Allegiance. Why do we need a pledge at all? I already pay the Republic taxes, I think I've proven enough allegiance. Remove it. Bullshit attempt to indoctrinate Americans against the Red Menace, while completely ignoring separation of church and state. I'd change it to one nation under dog.